Hi, hello, vanakkam, namaste, hola, bonjour, salam, and welcome to the very first video on DevOps Studio. So this is the place where we will talk about all about DevOps, breaking down the jargon, simplifying the process, and helping you understand how it all works. Whether you are just curious or already in the field, there is something here for everyone. So in today's video, we are diving into the DevOps life cycle, the step-by-step process that bridges development and operations to deliver software faster and better. We'll walk through each stage, show how they are connected, and keep it simple and engaging. If you like what you see, don't forget to subscribe, hit the bell icon, and show some love with a like or a comment. And let's kickstart this exciting journey together. All right, let's get started. So the DevOps lifecycle represents a methodology that combines practices, tools, and cultural philosophies to unify software development, which we normally call it as dev, and IT operations, and which we call it as ops, as part of the DevOps. So the ultimate goal is to shorten the software development lifecycle while maintaining high quality deliverables and ensuring continuous delivery of value to end users. And going forward, we will see what are the key principles of the DevOps lifecycle and why is DevOps important, what is DevOps in practice, and the cultural aspect of DevOps, and what are the challenges in the DevOps lifecycle. And also we'll see the eight processes which combines, the key stages of the DevOps lifecycle. So we do have 8 stages. We do have plan, develop, build, test, release, deploy, operate, and monitoring. So all these 8 stages combine to form the DevOps lifecycle. So we'll see them one by one. So let's move on to the next topic, which is the key principles of the DevOps lifecycle. So we do have the key principles of the DevOps lifecycle, and it has the following key principles, which is integration of dev and ops, the collaboration, automation, continuous processes, feedback loops. So I'll explain you one by one in detail, starting with the first one, which is the first one is the integration of dev and ops. So traditionally, we all know development and operations were siloed, which means they are like separate, which leads to inefficiencies and delays. So DevOps removes these silos, these separations, which promotes a shared responsibility for the software lifecycle. And developers focus on creating features and code while operations manage deployment and infrastructure. But in DevOps, these teams collaborate to ensure smooth and efficient workflow. So that is why we call it as the integration of dev and ops as the first key principle. So where we remove the silos. And the second part is the collaboration. So the communication and teamwork between developers, testers, and operations teams are at the core of the DevOps. So that's why we believe on the collaboration. So tools and platforms like Slack, Microsoft Teams, and collaborative dashboards facilitate real-time communication. And the third part is the automation. So automating repetitive tasks such as code builds, testing, deployment, and monitoring is central to DevOps. And automation reduces the human error, which in turn accelerates the processes and allows teams to focus on more strategic activities. And the fourth one is the continuous processes. So DevOps emphasizes continuous integration. So that's why we normally come across the keywords like CI/CD, the continuous integration, continuous deployment, or continuous delivery. And on top of it, we have testing, delivery, deployment, and monitoring. So these iterative processes enable the teams to deliver small incremental updates frequently, which reduces the risks and enhancing the flexibility. And then the fifth one is the feedback loop. So continuous monitoring and user feedback are the integral part to improve the software. So by getting the insights from the monitoring tools and the user behavior, it helps us to drive the iterative development cycles. And now the next part, which is why DevOps is important. So we'll see that. So far, we had a little understanding of why DevOps is important, and now we'll see. I mean, like, what is DevOps and how does it work? So now we'll see why DevOps is important. So the first part, or why the first point I would say why DevOps is important is the speed. So when I talk about the speed, it always comes up with the automated processes. So we do automate all the processes and we streamline the workflows. So by doing this part, like automating the process and by streamlining the workflows, we enable rapid software delivery. So when I say rapid, it's like more quicker and there will be like very quick processes that's happening because the processes are automated and the workflows are streamlined. And the second part is quality. So we do continuous testing, through which we ensure that the defects are identified and they are resolved early in the life cycle rather than we wait until the end or after the release. So before that, I mean, like by doing this quality part like QA, we find all the bugs and then we fix them by doing continuous testing to make sure that the defects are identified and resolved in the early life cycle. And then the third part is the reliability. So by doing continuous monitoring and feedback loops will help us to maintain the performance and uptime. So by doing continuous monitoring, we make sure that the application is available, and by having multiple feedback loops, we make sure that nothing goes wrong in terms of the DevOps operations. And then the adaptability. So the agile methodologies and the iterative development allow the teams, like which is us, to respond to changes very quickly. So we can respond to the changes very quickly rather than we wait for someone to give a feedback. So because we do have the continuous feedback, like we do have feedback loops, and through these agile methodologies and the iterative development, we can allow the teams to respond to, we can actually respond to the changes very quickly. And then the third part, the fifth part, the final one is the cost efficiency. So the automation reduces the manual workload and in turn the operational inefficiencies and the cost of fixing the late stage issues are being effectively managed. So that's why it's all about the cost efficiency. So we do have the five main things, like which is the speed, the quality, the reliability, the adaptability, and the cost efficiency. And next we'll see DevOps in practice. So when I say DevOps in practice, I normally talk about four important parts, which is continuous integration. So what we do in continuous integration, what about continuous delivery and continuous deployment and continuous monitoring. So we'll see them one by one. Like what is a continuous integration, which we commonly call as CI. So when during the continuous integration process, the developers, like we frequently integrate the code into a shared repository. So we do have Git, GitHub, we do have GitLab, we do have Azure DevOps as our shared repository. So we'll see them one by one, like what are all the components or what are the tools that we use. But for now, the main point that I'm dealing with here in the continuous integration is we frequently integrate our code into a shared repository, and the automated builds and tests actually run with each code commit, which ensures that the new code does not break the existing functionality. And that's all about the continuous integration. So we do integrate our code and make sure nothing breaks. The existing functionality doesn't breaks. And then the second part is the continuous delivery. So the code changes that pass the CI, which is the previous step. So the code changes that passes the continuous integration are automatically prepared for release because they don't break the existing code and they are like the new changes that we want to deploy to the production. So the goal is to have the code in a deployable state at all times. So that is what the continuous delivery is all about. And then the third part is the continuous deployment. Extending the continuous delivery by automatically deploying every validated changes to production is what we do in the continuous deployment. So we are going to continuously deploy through the delivery. Like we are going to extend the CD part, which we are seeing here. So extending the continuous delivery is the continuous deployment, where we automatically deploy every change, every validated change. That's very important. Not every change, but every validated change to the production. And this continuous deployment, where we are actually minimizing the manual effort which are needed for deployments. And then the fourth part is the continuous monitoring, where the applications and the infrastructures are constantly monitored to detect the issues and gather metrics. So that's what we talk about the continuous monitoring. So once we are in the continuous monitoring process, the application, the code, whatever code that we have integrated, we have delivered and deployed is already in the production. And our job is to constantly monitor to detect issues and gather metrics. So tools like Prometheus, Grafana, Splunk provide real-time insights into the system health. In the next part is we'll see the cultural aspects of DevOps, and we'll see the challenges in the DevOps life cycle. So before we end, we'll see the two important parts we want to complete before the video about DevOps lifecycle. So the first thing is the cultural aspect. So when I talk about the cultural aspects of DevOps, the first thing is the cultural shift. So when I talk about the cultural shift, it's because DevOps, it's not just about tools or processes. That's the very first thing which I want to bring to your table, because all we think is about like, okay, if I learn the tools, am I a DevOps expert? No, it's not about that. And if I learn about the process, am I a DevOps expert? No, it's not just that. It's not about the tools or the processes. It's about the cultural shift, right? So you have to culturally shift from your other job nature to your DevOps, and then as a team we have to adapt practices which foster trust, ownership, and accountability, because all we do is we do every operations, we do every development activity. So we have to make sure that we adapt the practices that foster trust, ownership, and accountability. And as an organization which is transitioning to DevOps, it may need to redefine the roles. So we have to embrace, which involves embracing the agile methodologies, and also we have to invest in training and upskilling. So that's very important, right? So these are the three aspects of cultural aspects of DevOps. So the first thing is cultural shift. The second thing is trust, ownership, and accountability. And the third one is redefining the roles and embracing the agile methodologies and invest in training and upskilling. So the next part is the challenges in the DevOps lifecycle. So now we'll see what are the challenges that we face in DevOps lifecycle, because the reason I wanted to bring you early to make sure that, okay, these are the challenges, so we have to work towards that. Like we have to fix those challenges and we have to work on top of it, right? So coming back to the challenges, the first challenge is tool overload, the skill gaps, cultural resistance, and complexity in automation. So when I talk about the tool overload, choosing and integrating the right set of tools can be overwhelming, because there are, like, I would say, tons and tons of tools which is being used in DevOps. There are like lots and lots of tools for each and every single action, for each and every single operation, for each and every single work that you do. We have like multiple choice of tools, so you have to choose the right tool that embrace with your technology, that embrace with the organization. So there are like multiple options for that. We'll see them one by one. And also you have to integrate the right set of tools. That can be overwhelming. And then the second part is the skill gap. So the teams may need to learn new technologies and workflows. And then the cultural resistance. So you have to transition from your traditional method, from the traditional working method to DevOps, and that requires a mindset change. So you have to have a good mindset so that you can learn very well. I mean, like you can adapt, or you can transition from the traditional methods to the DevOps mindset. And then when I talk about the skill gaps, yes, so we have to learn new technologies. When I say new technology, you have to learn Git, GitHub, Azure, AWS, GCP, whatever the cloud technologies. And then it comes to testing, you have to learn SonarQube, JFrog, which you might not have been heard about when you were in other technologies. So all these are part of your skills. And then the complexity in automation. So automating every aspect can be challenging, especially in legacy systems. So you have to be ready for all these challenges. And yep. So in summary, the DevOps lifecycle is a holistic approach to software delivery, which emphasizing the speed, the quality, and collaboration. So by breaking down these silos between development and operations, and by automating processes, and by adapting a culture of continuous improvement, we as an organization can meet the evolving demands of the software industry. So, and that's a wrap on our the very first DevOps Studios video. And I hope you enjoyed learning about the DevOps lifecycle and how its stages come together to create efficient and reliable workflows. So if you found this helpful, don't forget to hit that like button and share it with others who might find it useful. I would like to hear from you. So drop your thoughts, your questions, and suggestions in the comments below. And what topics would you like to see next? Let me know. And make sure to subscribe to DevOps Studios and hit the notification bell so you don't miss our upcoming videos. And we have got a lot more exciting content planned just for you. So thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Until then, keep learning, keep growing, and keep rocking the DevOps world. Bye. Take care and see you soon.